Wise boy me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a new live edition of the Wisemen Say podcast. Ty Fisher alongside Derik Abbott. Joe Lucas unavailable to join us. But Derik, how are you, man?
I am doing splendid. Just waiting out for this weekend when we're getting highs in the 70s and not like 95 every day. Probably sounds crazy to anybody who lives in like a much warmer climate all the time. But I don't know. I'm over it. I know I'm probably like a broken record, but like the heat and then these crazy torrential downpours. I think last night was like the first game out of like the past 3 or 4 that hasn't had some kind of delay at one point or another. So that was nice at least, but I'm a little. It's wearing on me now. That just that in particular, the weather is killing me.
Oh yeah, I can definitely.
How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. It's been quite some time, but no, I'm doing well. Working a lot, obviously. So, but no, I got a new camera today.
Ooh, very nice.
Yep. Yeah, it's my dream camera too.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna next? What's the first thing you're gonna be doing with it?
I'm going to be using it for social media for how Dominican men's soccer. So, and then taking pictures and stuff like that.
Cool,
so,
cool. I love that.
Yeah. Nah, it's gonna be a good one. I just need the lenses for it.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about that, but I watch some like vlogs and stuff, and occasionally the vloggers will like showcase when they get new cameras and stuff. So I have like a vague idea, but nowhere near any kind of like actual knowledge. But I know that's a big deal. Anytime anybody gets a new camera, it ups their game and whether it be photos or videos and stuff. So congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. Manuel already popping in the chat. So we are very good versus 3 center back tactics. But once Toluca switched to a 4-2-3-1, we were so bad versus the press. Nashville and other teams have showed opposition our weaknesses. Yes, and Derik, I think you have a better comprehension of yesterday's match against Toluca. Obviously Columbus get out to a strong 2-0 start. Diego gets the PK, and then Max gets one right after halftime. But just talk about what you saw on the upside, and then obviously the vulnerability that the Columbus Crew showed to let Toluca back into this match.
Yeah, it looked like I mean it feels like with a lot of the Crew games, it takes a tad bit of time for them, maybe 5-10 minutes to really get things going into a game. But I mean, early on, they had possession, and it was like typically what we expect: dominate possession. Toluca didn't really have a ton that they could do when it came to defense. And to Manuel's point, when they had the 3 center backs, we were picking them apart, so to speak. And there were a few chances in there. Gazdag, I mean, oh my gosh, this dude cannot. I don't know if he can pay for a goal at this point. He came in sliding in, didn't get that one, which is just a bummer because that everything. But he did not much of a solution for what we were doing, and it was a lot of dominating from the sides. I think we could have actually done a lot more shooting, just to how much we were inside the box. It felt like there were so many chances for like maybe a little too much passing, which I think we've mentioned in the past. But yeah, later on when they switched to the 4-2-3-1, immediately, like, and I think we've mentioned this in the past too. Like, we have good players in the front line, but as soon as um, other teams start deploying that press for one reason or another, um, they just cannot. I don't know what we need to do from that because mentioning a few weeks ago, it's that press that, like, it, it a lot feeding it through Nagby as much. We're doing a lot more stuff on the outside. We're doing a lot more possession, and um, when we are getting our chances on the outside, that's fine. But like then it clogs up. There's nothing inside at all. At least from my vantage point, there wasn't. And once they start doing that, like, we are not good at getting the ball into the box from the outside corners. I mean, to an extent, it's getting there at times, but nowhere near to somebody for an actual scoring opportunity. Or the times, even whether it be corners or those crosses in, I feel like maybe one of them was even remotely close to being in a position to someone to be able to score. Um, and I could be, slightly off on that, but that's just kind of what I've noticed so far.
Yeah, definitely. And I think the same thing can be said about the Orlando match last Friday. I mean, started off well, and then all of a sudden it's just, you know, Columbus kind of just, I would say, shut the bed. Letting Orlando back into that match really, really screwed us up. I think Jared needs to do better occupying the dual center back in the four defensive lines. Once Ali took the center forward spot, you saw us wake back up. By then, we were already even. Yeah, I think the biggest thing with that is um the biggest thing with that is like you kind of cannot have two center forward spots in one. Um until one gets taken off the pitch and one moves in, which is why I think Ali takes that center forward spot once, say, Lassie Lapalainen joins in. Um, you can't see Derek. Interested if we see Picard debut and get some minutes on Friday night. I think so. I wouldn't put it past Nazi. He has been in training from what I've heard. So I think he will probably get some minutes, probably not a lot. I'm thinking maybe like 20, maybe 15, 20 at most. Pueblo looks like they're going to be a game. Granted, that NYC played the kids last night. Yeah. Um, but then again, I think Puebla is also one of those teams that can be kind of dangerous um, against us. Oh my gosh. Miami. That's a great save. Um, Miro brought pressing energy to Orlando, and we have dead legs by then. Yeah, he is one that is a very tricky player. Obviously, I mean, the last time we saw that was I think it was like the 4-3 loss in Orlando. I think it was 23 at the end of the season when he bagged a hat trick. If I'm not mistaken. So, that game really, really showed our weaknesses in the last probably 20 something minutes, I think it was. Um, oh, whoa, whoopsie. Did not mean to do that. Um, where's the picture? There he is. Um, Derek, what do you think? We're just talking about the Orlando match last Friday and how much of a
Yeah,
crap show that was.
that was so depressing. Uh, First there was the delay, which
Yeah.
again, bummer, been happening. Uh, that I mean, I don't know. We just kind of look flat. I mean, in my opinion, um, I mean, it was great that we scored the goal, but I don't know. I guess my whole summation of the entire game is that when we got to this that, I mean, my friend who has season tickets with me, and we were with our wives, he looked over and he's like, "All right, let's go. We know how this is going to end. Like, we're going to lose this game." And I was like, I mean, you could just tell, like, the energy from the team for whatever reason is just completely gone, in my opinion. Like, it just felt like flat. It was just like the wheels had fallen off, and those next 15 minutes they were not coming back on. And I don't really know what to attribute that to necessarily, except for, I mean, historically, I feel like, and I know we've said this about a few other teams this year, but I feel like Orlando's might be one of the most consistently, like, it's a dogfight type game, and sometimes these results come out of it that aren't the greatest. I think somebody pointed out earlier this season that, or earlier in the week, that 2 years ago when we won the championship, it was a loss versus Orlando that looked really bad, that really like helped show us what we needed to improve upon. And then after that, we went
Yeah.
on a tear, won the championship. So I'm hoping that that's the case. It was one of few this year that I'm really like, there wasn't a ton to take away from it other than I was just really disappointed at how we like could not remote close out. A little bit different than this week's, because at least this week's they changed tactics on us, and I just don't think we adjusted very well. Orlando's was quite literally, and you just
Sorry, you were lagging so bad just now. It's all right though. It's cool.
I don't know what is going on with that. I'm like turned off some things that had Wi-Fi and everything, and I've had no problems today with any kind of lagging on like video calls for work and stuff. But as
Yeah.
soon as I jump on here, it's like I don't know what is happening.
I don't know. I have a lot of things open on my laptop. Maybe it's my end.
But
Um,
yes, all in all, I think that was a game you can learn a lot from, but throw the rest of the tape away.
what would you say is the biggest um success factor that the Columbus Crew had against Toluca last night?
Ooh, I feel like when we did get the especially the first half, when we were primarily dominating, and say dominating necessarily, but majority of time had the ball in their side. Um, for all the times, in the second half we weren't able to get the ball in the box, we were doing a relatively decent job at that. It looked like primarily everybody was in sync for the most part. There were a few instances I noticed, like one or two. Mainly it was like Alieu or there was someone else. I'm totally blanking on who it was right off the top of my head, but there were like a few instances that I saw where maybe someone was open, they just quite literally did not look over at them.
Yeah.
Um, but I think overall, for a team like that to be able to jump out to a 2-0 lead, and also kind of, there were a lot of shenanigans with officiating last night, which were kind of in our favor, at least initially. Um, I was impressed with what we were doing offensively. That doesn't mean every offensive player I was impressed with, but I think as a whole, I liked what I saw, especially when um, Gerald says Diego wouldn't pass to JRR. I did not notice that, but I didn't really like the body language from JRR, quite frankly. I thought there were numerous times where I could think of two instances. One, there was a pass that went to him, or it got passed forward or something, and so it was slightly ahead of him, closer to him than to the keeper for the other team, and he just kind of like gave up on it when he could have easily gotten to the ball before the keeper. Like he kind of just gave up and let the keeper get the ball. And so that in and of itself, I was not happy with, because there could have at least been an effort to get to it. Um, or even if you were offsides, but you were still sprinting towards it, maybe the keeper botches it and then you can potentially score. Like there's things that you could do right there. Another one is there was like a pass to him and he like real like lazy, like jogged up to it and then just rocketed it over, and then just completely missed our player on the outside right out of bounds. Like he just like went real slow and then just fired this thing so far ahead that like there was no chance anyone was going to get it. And I'm like, what? Why is this inconsistent? And my thought is that for somebody who is definitely going to be fighting for or should be performing in a way to show that he's fighting for a starting spot. I mean, with Ali coming in, he's not going to be the starter. I mean, I think, that seems obvious, but at least you're kind of showcasing like, hey, I should be getting minutes in this spot when the time comes, like one way or another. And I just don't feel like he's done much to really showcase that in the past few weeks. He has had good bright spots, but I mean, last night, at least from what I was seeing, other people could have seen it a different way. I was just totally unimpressed completely by just every which way about it. And if Diego was purposely not passing to him, maybe he was seeing that too and was like, nah, sorry, dude, we're not going through you anymore.
Ref had some weird calls though. Though Ruiz should have gotten a second yellow. JR is like a middle-aged man. He can't finish under pressure. I've seen good and bad matches from the match official. I can't remember his name, saved my life, but I know he did. Did he do the Gold Cup final he did a Gold Cup match this year? I can't remember which one it was though, but I've seen good and bad matches from him. But I think the one thing, and Derek, you brought it up, is the addition of Wassam Abu Ali from Al Ali. I think, from what I heard, I think he's still nursing a hamstring injury that he got during the Club World Cup. But with the addition of him, I think Columbus could easily kind of turn the season around. From what you've seen and what you've read, what would you grade the Columbus Crew's addition of Wassam Abu Ali?
I mean, I guess I have to admit I did not see his Club World Cup. I didn't watch a lot of that. I was a little salty at just us not making it, and I think a lot of them you had to download the Dazn app, or I don't know, the whole thing. We kind of already talked about it, but I mean, from all accounts, I mean, it sounds really good. And I think he's in that right age where like you could have him for a few years, but you don't, kind of like what Kucho was to a degree, where like you don't know what his ambitions are. He could be here for a while if he's good, which would be nice. But I mean, the stats speak for themselves. I think he's averaging like a goal every 2 games or something like that in the past 60, maybe a little over 50%, which is always a good thing. And I would say like, let's say a B. Jury's still out. Obviously an injury. Don't love the idea of that.
Yeah.
But I forget. Someone did an interview with Issa Tall, and he said that they tried to get him at the beginning of the season, and they just weren't able
that was
to make
Tom
it work.
Bogert.
Okay, so yeah, remember back in the beginning of the season when it was like hair on fire, and everyone was freaking out, and to think that like they were trying to get this dude then. So I mean, I'm gonna say B. I'll maybe move it to like an A minus, just because like if the whole front office is on board with having wanted this guy back in the beginning of the season, this is before the hat trick in the Club World Cup and all this other stuff, then I got to think that they really feel confident about this. And I know they said they've had backup contingencies, but my guess is that this was always their number one guy if they were already trying to get him at the beginning of the season. And that was before they moved Cucho. I'm assuming because the Cucho move and even the Ramirez move were pretty late. It was right before the season started. So I got to have a lot of confidence in that until they prove me wrong, which is always possible. But it sounds like everybody's on board, including Nancy. And I think that's the biggest factor of anybody we bring in, especially in this attacking position.
Yeah, I also think a big. Oh, whoa! Wait a second. Wait a minute. Hold on. Whoa. Oh my gosh. They've updated StreamYard. There's
on the spot.
Look at that.
Oh,
look at that. That is awesome.
A like and subscribe little icon. That's pretty cool.
There's that. There's like and follow Facebook. Be right back. Thank you. There's a welcome. There's a BRB. Yeah, no, this is sick. All right, Shingon, you've outdone yourselves right now. um, I think there's a very positive optimism among the crew fan base with Wissam Abu Ali, right? Because the biggest thing is his ability to finish, right? I mean, he got that perfect hat trick in the Club World Cup against Porto in that 4-4 draw, which was absolutely wild, right? Um, but I've looked at stats and like
Hmm.
his expected goals per 90 is, I mean, it's just below 1, but he's getting those chances, right? And I think that's what Columbus kind of lacks as of now. Not
Hmm.
saying that we're not getting those chances because they're obviously generating these opportunities, but I think it's just they're looking for that final pass when in reality, me personally, and I do this when I play FIFA, is if I have the opportunity just to get a shot off, I'm going to get the shot off. Just get the shot off, maybe make the keeper force something, right? Because on one
100%.
on one hand, the tape is out. Yeah, we're going to look for that. We're going to look for that final pass to try and get an easier goal. Um, Keeper's going to be like, okay, they're not going to take the shot here, but I think if we surprise with, Jason or Max or Aliu, or even when Abu Ali gets in, just to get a shot off, it's going to catch the keeper by surprise. Oh shit, I wasn't expecting him to take a shot from here. So I
Hmm.
think that's one thing that he will definitely bring to the table that can, kind of maybe give Columbus those positive results when they're in the final third, when they're in the 18-yard box and get these shots off to kind of make the keeper, parry a ball away to Daniel Gazdag, who's making that far post run, or a spill and Diego Rossi just
Yeah.
taps it in.
And think about all the, you bring up a great point because um, I saw a stat about that, and Manuel spot on too, about like we have no problem creating chances. I mean, think about the past few weeks before Gazdag finally scored. How many opportunities? Some of those games, he was like, I mean, probably over exaggerating a little bit, but it felt like 6 shots to be potentially score a goal right in there. These weren't even run a play really. They were just
Yeah.
in the box. So if you can get somebody who's a finisher, one in the box would be great, but because we're creating chances there. But I think also it will inherently increase the run of play because the times even last night when we had chances at run of play, you either had Diego, I think maybe once or twice for Gazdag, and a lot of them for like Russell Rowe, of getting to that point of trying to get there, and it just never really panned out. Whereas if you have somebody who's a finisher, they're going to be a little more, they know how to do this. This isn't their first rodeo of um, being able to advance the ball forward and do that kind of stuff. Just the first time that we get a run of play goal, because I don't know how long it's been. I
Hmm.
mean, it's going to feel like the weight of the world is off of our shoulders.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, in and of itself, I think one thing we've done consistently this year is get the ball into positions in the box to create those chances. And we just have not really had, a consistent finisher. Diego has probably been the best one, and he also takes the penalty kicks. I would have liked to have seen him let Gazdag take that chance last night. Um, I get it. He's going to be our
Yeah.
guy um, doing a lot of those PKs, but I just think from like a um, helpful standpoint, that would have been really nice to see. And then um, I don't know. I feel like and I don't know if we were going to talk about it, but I'll just segue into it because it just made me
Yeah.
think of it. Uh, is anybody else, and people in the chat can certainly um, let me know kind of what their opinion was, because this was kind of the general consensus in the Nordic, at least in my section, and we were in a little bit more of a spread on spot. But so Diego first totally, juked out the goalie or the keeper. Second one, exact same spot. Naturally, the keeper is going to immediately go over there because that's, how he feels like it's kind of, dialed in. Third chance, he just did the exact same thing. It was driving me absolutely crazy. And not that, I know there are chances where out of three, I would say 9 times out of 10, the person kicking is going to probably score 2 out of 3 of those chances. The keeper's not stopping 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
But in this instance, of course, that did not happen for us. And I don't know, it was a bit maddening. And I guess in and of itself, I know I had to remind myself that Nancy is very much just everybody. So like whoever he's got out there, he's not worried about we're gonna get to PKs. I'm just gonna, I want to strategically put in who I want to put in because we're gonna get to the point of PKs. But it was, a little bit at first maybe like slightly jarring of just like the people we had in. You're like, okay, we're going to be taking PKs. Here we go. And I saw that Wisemen said the keeper got in his head. I called that he was going to go to his right. Needs to take a lesson from Taha. Yeah, 100%. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I think it was Taha who just was like, okay, and just kind of blooped it down the middle. And I'm like, that's not going to work all the time, but that's probably really a tactic that isn't used very often. And I think when you get your third chance and you've got the keeper who has gone both ways, both times, or at least the second time when you did the exact same thing, mix it up a little bit. Obviously, I probably could have never scored what Crew Cat would probably stop me if I was doing one of those kicks before the games like the little kids do. But still, I mean, it's just worth, mentioning because we don't get to see PKs too much anymore. I mean, outside of I think US Open Cup, they still do them. And I don't even know. The playoff, they keep changing so much. I don't even know now if we see them that way. So it's things like these that are the only way. And actually, my buddy and I left. Like we thought it was just a tie, a tie since this is, there's 3 games per round. So we actually went up into the concourse, started walking, and then they said there's PK. So we went back down into our seats to watch it. So sometimes like that, I wish that, maybe they did put it out and I just missed it, but like putting out the rules a little bit more so that we know kind of what's going on. One of the good things I saw is that no MLS team last night won a game, which I guess you could say it could be bad, depending on how you look at it. I'm the positive side of puts us still in a potential chance to advance. We'll obviously have to see what the rest of, I think there's games tonight and tomorrow night. So we'll see kind of how they perform. But all in all, I think that getting into 2 goals is 2 goals more than anything. Melissa brings Rossi for Arston, who should have been in for the penalties if that is what we were playing for, that loses the ball that lead to the second header for the tie. Yeah, I'm not really sure why we took out Arston. That was a bit baffling, especially just knowing we don't do a lot of subs in the first place. I did notice that they flipped Arston from, I think it was the right side to the left side at one point during the game. I don't remember exactly when that was. I actually didn't pick up on it at first until later on. So it seems like they wanted to move him around and use him a lot. But yeah, I don't know why, especially because he scored some goals for the U.S. national team as well, whereas Lassie hasn't played a ton for us. So I don't know exactly what the reasoning was behind that, because I just feel like Arston offensively and defensively is a better option. But again, they were throwing a different formation out at that point, so perhaps that could have helped us out a little bit more. But yeah, it's it's definitely frustrating. Happy to see her. Yes, that was very nice, and I was surprised that he wasn't in sooner. Although I guess he hasn't been playing with us because of the whole loan extension and that. Anybody who was watching did Picard end up getting in? I feel like towards the end we were doing like a fair amount of subs, and I was missing one or two while trying to keep track of everything else. I would like to see more of him because, from all accounts, he should be pretty good for us. And this is basically basing everything off of what I've seen from the fans of his team that he just came from. But it seems overall everyone was really positive about him, so I'm excited about that. I think you're going to see. I think we'll. I think Ali is not currently on it. I don't see him being in this first round of games through Tuesday at least, even if he does go over here before them with the visa stuff, because he'll still want to get integrated with the team. So I would not expect to see him throughout these first 3 games. Hopefully we advance out of it, but I know the rules and only 4 teams are advancing team. So we'll see how that all pans out, but it would be nice to see him in this so that he can, however you look at it, it's unconsequential games from the overall season. So that would be nice to get him in there. But I think I would like to just see some, more players rotated in. It felt like we threw out the kitchen sink at him a little bit last night. And I think that was the game to do it out of the 3 teams. I'm not overly familiar with any of the 3, to be honest. Out of the Liga Meki teams, these 3 I'm not as familiar with. But I did know that the caliber of the team from last night, like they're champions, it's all very recent. So they're very good and from that standpoint. So I would like to see us win out. I know a lot of people maybe don't care as much about League Cup, but I think that it's fun. We won a championship last year. That game up, but it was from just a pure crowd energy standpoint, felt like as close as we're going to get outside of a Cincinnati game or a playoff game. I mean, it was about as close as you were going to get. So
those Cincinnati games are a different breed, though. Like, my word, anytime Columbus and Cincinnati play, it's a whole different animal.
I think that's true.
Oh my gosh. Edgar from LA. How are you?
They're always like bringing out a band. They're always doing those extra things.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, you want to know what sucks is Seattle Sounders band. They have like a maybe a 12-person band.
Like actual like a rock band or like a marching band?
No, like a marching band.
Oh no, that's so lame.
Yeah, like they got people playing the cymbals, they got people playing trumpets, drums, saxophone.
I mean, I know we got like the Nordic brass, but like, are they out there on the field marching?
So they played. They have like their own little area, at Lumen Field. Seattle Sounders.
Because I enjoyed Nordic brass, but I know it's not like I would not consider them like a marching band. I would consider them just like a group that has drums and horns in and of itself. But
yeah,
definitely not like giving off the vibes of like a full-fledged marching band, which it feels like is what you're explaining to me, which is incredible because they have this whole what's it for football, like the 12th man or something like that. They try to like really pump up that whole atmosphere of that stadium all the time doing that. And if they have like this band, this is on their official site.
This is on the
so this
Seattle
is
Sounders.
This is like a front office produced thing.
Soundwave is the
Wow.
official band of the Seattle Sounders FC. In 2009, minority owner Drew Carey conceptualized an ensemble made up of traditional marching, percussion, and brass instruments to bring the spirit of Sounders FC to life. The 43-person band plays custom arrangements from all genres of music, including rock, pop, Latin, funk, and big band. Incorporating choreography and musicians from a variety of musical backgrounds, Soundwave can be found at Sounders FC home match days and entertaining the local community at parades, charitable events, and corporate functions. The band is comprised of trumpets, mellophones, trombones, baritones, sousaphones, and a drumline.
If there was I've never seen a bigger endorsement for not having a celebrity owner. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is like the Euro snobs are looking over at this and they're like clowns, like amateur hour right here, like
Oh yeah.
total amateur league. The only good thing I will say is that like if they're gonna show up at like local parades and stuff, that is very good. Like community building, visibility for the community. Like I could see how that works in and of itself. But you could send the mascot and a few people, and it wouldn't be too much of a difference. Like, but man,
Oh yeah.
that's a lot bigger. I thought you were gonna tell me it was like a small deal. That's a big band. Like,
Yeah.
wow.
They're located
believe
at
that.
if you're in Seattle, like if you're in the away section in Seattle, you have the Emerald City supporters to your
Mhm.
left, right? And then that where the little tower is at Lumen Field, they're right there on that end, like
Oh,
right in the
okay.
middle. There's like a platform, but yeah, that's where they are. I mean, they're good,
That sounds about right.
but like they're good, but like I just
They
don't
better be.
understand it.
I can't think
I
of honestly a single professional sport. No, you know who kind of has one now that I think about it? As a professional team is the Las Vegas Golden Knights. They kind of have a band. I don't know what they
oh,
call them, but they like last time we were there with some friends, and I think it was like early March, and we happened to be inside of New York, like right where it spills out into uh it's like I forget what they call it. It's like a plaza, and then actually T-Mobile Arena. For anybody who hasn't been there, there's like a plaza between New York, and Park MGM, and then directly behind that in this big open area is T-Mobile Arena. So it's like a pretty cool hangout spot and stuff. But like we happen to just be like walking into New York, and we we're like getting drinks and stuff. All of a sudden we hear this loud commotion. We're like, what is this? And it is a full-fledged Golden Knights band, like marching band with their mascot, people with flags, and then fans just following them like a parade, more or less, like walking right through. So we're like getting on top of like at New York's got like fake like street lights and stuff. So we're like kind of
yeah.
like standing up on these things to get out of their way, but also just like watching it. It was entertaining, I will say, but like it's cool because they're walking through casinos and not a lot of other teams can really do that. So like that's a unique part about it. But like overall, it's kind of it's a little cringy. Let's be real. What do they call it? Oh,
The
so it's
drum
just a
box.
drum line. Okay,
Yeah,
so they're a
yeah, it's
little
a
bit
drum
different.
line.
Okay, I couldn't remember if there was like horns in the whole 9 yards.
Oh no, there's just a drum line, but they do perform at the top of the castle inside T-Mobile Arena,
I
which
want
is
to go to that
absolutely
game.
amazing. Oh my
The Blue Jackets
god.
play there on like January 7th or something like that this year. I think it's a Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
I'm the wheels are turning. I gotta go and like get some comps or something in order to make that work. But like I would like to go to that because I hear Golden Knight games are very fun. I don't know how we got on this topic during a soccer podcast,
I
but
have no idea either.
in case anybody was curious.
No, Golden Knights games are absolutely amazing. They play on my birthday this year, and I'm going. So
Love that.
yeah.
So have you seen the parade? Have you been in like the casino when the parade goes down? Or whatever they
Yes.
call it?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
marching thing? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you know all about
Yep.
it. All right.
Yep.
I knew nothing about it. It was brand new
Oh
to
my
me and
god.
I was just like, what is going on here?
Oh, dude. I I love it. That's like my second favorite team in the NHL behind Tampa Bay.
I would.
Love it.
Oh, Tampa Bay. That's for another day. That's for a whole nother day. I like Edgar though. It says Vegas fans are the most annoying NHL fans I've ever met.
Edgar.
Are they
No.
equivalent to the MLS
Columbus Crew
fans from our friends in Miami? Because those people are being very annoying this week on the interwebs. Very annoying.
When aren't they annoying?
It's over the top, and somehow they've like taken aim at Columbus fans in particular. Be quiet. Oh, Tampa Bay.
By the way, Derek, that hat you have on, does it have a smiley face on it? So that was you. That was literally standing across the street from me on Friday night.
Oh, yeah. So Ty was trying to text me and get a hold of me, and admittedly, I just want to say this. Okay. There was a rain delay. We were at an establishment along Park Street, and we stayed a little bit longer because there was a rain delay, okay? And then we get to the game, and as one does, have a few drinks. Now, it was time. Once we were done, I was like, we got to go home. It's time to go home, if you know what I mean. But two, I also want to point, I'm glad you brought this up because I've never had one of these pre-mixed drinks at the stadium before.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know if it was a slushy, what exactly it was, messed me up. One of them did me in. So if anybody there is going and they're like, I'm only going to have one or two drinks, but you also want to catch like a decent buzz, I go find those. I don't really remember exactly where we got them from, but they did the job. But yeah, I was wearing this hat. It's a Land Grant hat. They were just selling them not too long ago. I mean, I like to think it's crew theme because they started to do a lot more of like black and gold colored things, but they put like their LG right here instead of the eyes. But I don't know if anyone sees the ticket holder. They sent out a thing that they have like a Hispanic Heritage Night coming up in September. They have these bucket hats that are reversible that a local artist designed. Look pretty sweet. And if you're a season ticket holder member, check your emails because I had one that said I could get it for $10 and I could just pick it up in September. So I did that and they look cool. And so I will start wearing that hat for this podcast once I get it. And I'll show everyone with it.
I was wondering, and I was like, I was when I was texting you, I was like, I know Derek feels his phone vibrating in his pocket. And you pulled it out.
I did not. Oh, did I?
You pulled it out one time to text back, and you said something like, "LOL, I'm so gone" or whatever. And then I texted you back. I was like, "Yeah, is there a Honda to your left? Are you with another?"
Oh, wow.
I was like, "I know this is Derek."
Could not tell you.
I was like, "Man, I know this is Derek."
I think that I probably was just, celebrating. It was a Friday game. We rarely have those. And so I was in a festive mood. And, I can't even blame it on the result because it was 1-0 at the 75th minute when they had stopped serving libation adult beverages. And so clearly it was before that. But yeah, I had a good time. You saw me, kind of. Physically, you saw me. Mentally, I was not there.
Mentally, no. Clearly,
admittedly.
But on the topic of merch, make sure to go buy your Wisemen Say podcast merch. That's a good segue, right? Use code Wiseman Pod for free shipping on orders $150 or more. 3 sweatshirts can get you free shipping. Other than
it may seem crazy, but it may seem crazy right now because it's hotter than Hades out there. But you're going to be happy when they switch over this league schedule here soon. Hopefully not. And you're going to need some warm clothes to wear. And you could be like me and probably get fleeced by Adidas in the team shop and buy some kind of like Adidas 3-stripe crew jacket, or for way cheaper, you just buy a few of these sweatshirts, put them on under your jacket.
See,
Good to go.
easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Exactly.
Easy. Last order of business. My favorite black and gold, my other favorite black and gold team, I should say. Ohio Dominican men's soccer dropped their 2025 schedule, and boy, is it a doozy. I will tell you that right now. Starting off the
Yeah, I
season
don't know
against,
these logos. Give us the rundown here.
yeah, trust me, I did my research. Starting off the season with 4 home games versus non-conference opponents, we have Davenport on September 4th, followed by Roosevelt on the 6th. Trevecca Nazarene, former college of the Great Midwest Athletic Conference. Trevecca Nazarene on September 11th, followed by Lee Flames on the 13th. And then we begin conference play in North Canton against Walsh University. Lake Erie Storm, big one. Is
Love
always
that.
fireworks when
Love that name and love that logo. Is that a tornado with like a smiley face and some muscles?
You don't love the name. So it's
No, I mean I'm rooting for Ohio Dominican. Don't get me wrong. I don't know a lot of these teams, so
yeah, no,
that one stuck out.
yeah, no, Lake Erie is definitely, they are a good team. They do have a lot of international players that are very, very good. They're probably
really? Okay.
they're probably always one of the top 3 teams in the conference, quite
Wow.
honestly. Ashland University on the 24th, followed by University of Findlay on the 27th. That rounds out September. Open up October, a home against Kentucky Wesleyan, and then we traveled back to Canton to take on Malone University. We welcome the Dragons of Tiffin on October 11th. That game always gets a little feisty. I will say that. It's great. Tiffin University.
I didn't realize they had a university up there. I ran a cross country meet back in high school up there one time at the Tiffin Carnival. I had no idea they had a school up there.
Yep, Tiffin University, the Dragons. Always a feisty game when these two teams play. It's great. We welcome Malone again on the 16th of October before traveling to Midland, Michigan to take on the Timberwolves of Northwind University. Thomas More comes to town on October 23rd. 2 days after, we get Walsh University at home before we go to the Paradiso Sports Complex at Tiffin. This rounds out the month of October and begins our last 3 games on the road, traveling down to Owensboro, Kentucky to take on Kentucky Wesleyan, and then rounding out the season on the 4th of November against Cedarville. The quarterfinals are, I believe, the 11th or 8th. I can't remember which one it is. It's one of those 2 days. And then conference semis are on the 13th of November, my birthday. I'm hoping that we make it. I'm also hoping that we don't because I really want to go to Vegas.
No, come on. You can't say that.
No. Honestly, if they make the semis, I would be 100% fine missing going to Vegas because I can always go. I'm going next year anyway.
Do they play these games at home, like when it gets to after the regular season, or do they play them in specific locations?
So what happens is if they play the quarterfinals, if we play a team lower than us in the standings, I think it's the top 8 get in. So say like if we are number 5 and we play number 6, we'll play at home. And then the semis and the final are at the regular season champions location. So for example, last year, or here we go, perfect example, 2021, when ODU made it to the conference final in the NCAA tournament. So 2021, we played Tiffin, who finished, I think, 4th. We finished 3rd. We played at home in the quarterfinals. And then the top 4, or so, I can't remember which one it was. Top 4 make it to the semi. So we had Lake Erie, we had Walsh, we had us, and Cedarville that advanced. So Lake Erie won the regular season, so they have home field advantage throughout the entirety. And then it was I think it was 2-5-3-4. So we were second. We faced off against Tiffin. That was at home. And then Walsh and I think it was Finley played, and they played at Walsh. And then it was the other four. So Lake Erie, Walsh, Cedarville, and Ohio Dominican. We played at Lake Erie because they were the regular season champions. So they had home field advantage throughout the entirety.
So even if Lake Erie loses, they still have to play all the games in their stadium regardless? Or they're...
Yep. Yeah. So
that's kind of wild.
Which is funny because we had Tiffin made it last year. I can't remember who it was, but there was a team that lost, and they had or was it, maybe it was Ashland? I can't remember who it was. There was a team that lost, and they lost in the quarterfinals, but everybody, because they were regular season champions, that's where the GMAC tournament had to be held, was at this campus because they were the regular season champions.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's revenue for them. So there's an advantage to winning, I'm sure, from the university's standpoint, regardless of how it all pans out, because at least you're getting people there buying concessions and stuff.
Their stadium is honestly, it really is. It's about 15 minutes from actual Lake Erie, Lake Erie colleges. But it's a high school field. They play at Harvey High School.
Oh.
And it's the corner flag is probably 2 feet away from the track, and it's turf. So
not good.
Yeah, it's bad. But I mean, I honestly hope that we do make the conference playoffs. It's been way too long.
I was gonna ask that too. Obviously, as we get closer, I'm sure we're going to keep talking about him. But
yeah,
I'm excited to learn more about the team because I've always seen you tweeting about it and stuff in the past, and now I get to be involved in you kind of giving us, the scoop on what's going on and everything. And so, local soccer, we should be supporting any and all local soccer. Not just MLS and the crew, but everybody locally. It only helps strengthen the community and keep the sport growing. So I love it.
Thursdays and Saturdays are when our games are mostly in the evening. So if you don't have anything to do on a Thursday or a Saturday and would like to know more information, check out OhioDominicanPanthers.com/men's soccer for more details on times. Free admission. Great times. Yeah, free admission, great times. Honestly, it's probably one of the most quality soccer conferences I've ever seen. Not taken away from the Big Ten and Ohio State, because Ohio State plays amazing soccer, right? But if you're looking for like lower division NCAA sanctioned soccer, Ohio Dominican is the place to be at.
Now, remind people where Ohio Dominican is, like from the city standpoint, like where around the city would it be located at?
Yeah, so Ohio Dominican University is located on Sunbury Road, probably I'd say 5-10 minutes away from John Glenn International. So if you're coming from downtown, taking 670 East you can get off of either Leonard or Fifth Avenue exit and get to it from there. So you're probably looking at Derek, where you're in Grandview.
Close, Victorian Village.
So you're probably...
I've been out there for like a work-related thing. It's been a while, but I've been out to the university for a work-related thing a while back, so I knew it was relatively close. I just didn't know if like everybody knew that, but it has been a while for me too. So yeah, that's good. I mean, that's a fairly, I would say, easy place for people to get to go to games.
1216 Sunbury Road, Panther Field. Come on out to a game. So
claws out.
Yes. See, Derek knows the way.
I'm already in. I'm all in.
Derek, before we wrap up, any final thoughts, comments?
I don't know too much about the team we're playing on Friday, but I hope we win. It's another home game on a Friday. I don't know what the weather is. Actually, I think the weather is supposed to be a little cooler, I think. not by much, but I mean, anything would be nice. So yeah, I mean, I hope we win. I don't really know. I don't have much of like a report. I don't. I can't even really give a prediction because I just don't know much about the other team. I'm sure I'll learn more
Yeah.
before that game comes, but I hope everybody goes to it if you're able to and you want to. Of course, I know some people have strong feelings about the Leagues Cup in general, but I thought it was a pretty decent turnout for a Tuesday night game last night, and hopefully. Um, we get a little more lively atmosphere. Maybe less of their other team's fans. There was a fair amount, although I've come to expect that with Leagues Cup. But yeah, 78. Look, perfect weather. So I believe it does start at 7, which is a bit of a bummer that they do start a tad bit earlier for this. But yeah, anybody who can come out, let's give them hell and try to get 3 points out of this game.
Miami just scored, by the way. So that's fine.
I
It'll
already
be on
know what's
Apple
going to
TV.
happen. They're going to be leading this thing after the first round of games. It's just
probably.
I already know where this is going.
Probably. Yes, all Leagues Cup games will be on Apple TV. Yeah, other than that, Derek, my friend, it's been fun. Been a while since we got to do this.
We were kind of spiraling everywhere, but
Hey.
sometimes I feel like hopefully people find that entertaining because I think sometimes that is also a fun way to approach some of these games, especially as a lot of times maybe we're reporting on or we're talking about the same pros and same cons, and that's not always fun to do. And we're in League Cup land now, so like it's a little bit of just a wild card.
Name another Columbus soccer podcast that talks about hockey also. I'll wait.
That's a good question.
I don't
And
think
Ohio Dominican.
Yes.
And what else? And marching bands. A lot of hot takes about marching bands.
And marching bands.
We're better than
By the way,
Tigers in America fans.
Better than Tigers in America.
I will say, I definitely noticed that too. I felt like the Tigres in the America fans when they came in here, they were coming in like chest puffed out, like we're running the show here. I mean, no one, don't get me wrong, nobody said any of that, but like you kind of caught the vibe. They were like, we're gonna take this over. Whereas Toluca fans, I seem pretty chill, at least from any kind of general interaction I had with them. Wasn't anything extensive, especially being in the Nordic. You don't really run into opposing fans a whole lot in that section, but yeah, overall, I thought they all seemed very pleasant, and it was very easy to get out, which was nice because some games, especially with Leagues Cup, gets very congested. Everybody leaving at once. There's a lot more street vendors now, so you got to kind of navigate around that way. Great food though, so I appreciate them. I hope that they stick around in those areas. But yeah, a bit of a sea of red and yellow, which MLS would never do the ketchup mustard matchup, but Leagues Cup said, "Go for it."
Hold my beer.
Yeah, we'll let you do it. So I like that.
For those of you watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in, joining the conversation. We appreciate the love and support. If you are listening audio on any preferred platform, we also thank you for listening and the continued support. Make sure to give us a like and follow on social media, on Twitter at Wiseman Pod, on Instagram at the Wiseman Say Podcast. You guys can follow Derek on social media
at Funky Moses 17.
You guys can follow Gerald on social media at Gerald_Lucas96. And you guys can follow me on social media at Fisher_Tyler or Fisher Tyler__. And Derek, my friend, as yeah, that was bad. Derek, my friend, as Manuel posted, Wisemen say,
only fools rush in.
Peace out, everybody. Have a good week and stay safe, stay hydrated, stay cool. Hug your loved ones. I can't talk. Go Crew.
Go Crew.